from there, just things just like zoomed, just flew by. Now I'm like living in Utah. I got engaged in my dream job. It is crazy, honestly. It has been the most rewarding thing in my life.
Hey guys, it's Annie and I'm really excited for today's video because one of the top favorites on my channel is manifestation success stories, and today I have a really special guest joining us. Her name's Krystal, and we actually worked together last year. She was a client of mine for only 6 weeks, and she has one of the most mind-blowing, amazing transformations, and I'm always like, Krystal, you need to share this, it's awesome. So we got her here today. I'm just gonna turn it over to Krystal though.
Hi guys, my name is Krystal. I'm super excited to be on this channel. This feels like surreal. I literally have chills because I remember watching all of Annie's videos when you first started. So being on your channel now feels like a weird like time warp situation.
Isn't it wild?
I'm so excited to share with you guys all the amazing things that I've been able to manifest.
Where do we even start? We had one-off call. Like, what was that, like 2 years ago maybe?
Yes, it was so strange. I was actually going through like a really dark time in my life. I was going through some like health issues, losing my hair. And I just remember randomly I was watching like YouTube videos and your ad for your spiritual, I think it was like a spiritual call. And I was in the middle of like my treadmill walk when your ad pops up. And it was like, I don't know, it felt like a connection. Like, so the number 222 is my angel number. And it was, that ad had popped up right at that exact time. And it was like spots closed at 3 p.m. that day, that exact day. It was like a message that I had to go on this call for some reason. And I remember signing up for it, and once we had that call, it was crazy just how, like you mentioned earlier, all the synchronicities that came from that call.
And just from that one experience too. It was when I was starting to do like mediumship training, but your grandmother came through, which was wild.
Yeah.
Like that's honestly not something I do a lot. But after that, you were able to heal your hair loss and your health issues too, which was really inspiring in itself.
Yeah, I was able to do that, and I think it's a combination of like manifesting but also putting the work towards it, and every inch of my hair grew back. So that makes me so happy because that was really honestly like a super dark period in my life. But being able to connect in that call with you, getting those messages from my grandma were like, that connection to like the universe just felt that much stronger ever since that call. And I think that just helped me like skyrocket and get to where I wanted to be, honestly.
Yeah. And so then last year when we first connected, and because you had that one call and you heard that I was doing a 6-week program and you're like, I need to do this. So why did you even come to me at that point?
So at that point, I was already like, my hair was already growing back. I was like in a much better place, I would say, but I still felt like I wanted to learn so much more from you. I don't know, like just that call was just so magical. I can't even explain it. Like I remember like after that call I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never felt like that. I don't know, it just felt so supernatural, honestly. And
right?
I just
magical.
Yeah, honestly, very magical. And I felt like I wanted some more of that. I was still kind of like searching of how can I get connected even more with like the law of attraction, and how can I learn even more. And I've honestly learned so much from your videos already. So I was like, what an amazing opportunity to get like this one-on-one coaching with you and learn even more. And I was honestly also going through a weird time where like I wanted more from my relationship. So I was like, maybe this could help me figure out more of myself. And I don't know, I just like saw this as like an overall great opportunity for me to grow even more as a person and grow even more in like my law of attraction intellect. So I grabbed at the moment that I could, and I'm so glad that I did because so many amazing things happened after that.
Your entire life, every aspect is different.
Literally
like, everything. It's, yeah, I'm truly blown away by Krystal. Our first call together, one of the things like Krystal mentioned was her partner, she was like, I really want to spend my life with him, but I don't know or feel comfortable to have that conversation. Like, what if he runs away? You didn't even have a conversation with him about it. You just changed your energy and started working on how you were feeling inside and what you wanted. And what happened within a couple of weeks after we had that initial conversation?
I know, I got engaged. It was crazy. I remember that first call, I was like filled of so much fear and doubt because I really didn't know where my relationship was going. I think we had hit like a point in our relationship where I was like, okay, like, is this gonna go somewhere or is it not? I like really wanted some answers, but I had this fear around having that conversation because I thought he was gonna like run for the mountains. I thought he was gonna run away, and so I was really, really nervous, honestly. So I remember after that conversation, you were like, you just have to let go of that like energy and just bring in that new like vibration of, okay, everything's gonna be okay, like things will happen when it needs to. And it was literally, I'm not even kidding, like I think it was the next day or 2 days after that conversation with you where he himself brought up the idea of us starting a life together. And it was, I don't know, it was crazy to me how fast from there just things just like zoom, just flew by. Now I'm like living in Utah, in my dream job. It is crazy, honestly. Like I said, it happened so fast. I don't think I even like really got time to process everything. I think that's why till now, to this day, I like sit down sometimes and I'm like, oh my gosh, like all of this happened in a year. Like I feel like I forget that sometimes, like how much my life has changed in a year. But yeah, it was like a situation where we were going out somewhere and he was like, I really need to talk to you about something serious. And I honestly had like a weird feeling in my stomach. I was like, okay, this is either gonna be like breaking up or like like it just felt like something, yeah, something big. And yeah, he was like, I love you, you're the love of my life. Like I want to move back to Utah, but I want to take you with me. I want to get engaged. I want to talk to your dad and ask for your hand. Like it was literally everything that like I ever wanted was like happening, which is crazy because I have just had that conversation with you.
At that time, you were living with your parents in Vegas.
I literally lived with my parents till I was 27, just because they're very traditional, very like, okay, you have to get married, then you leave the house. They're very like strict. And I feel like I had a lot of fear and anxiety around having that conversation with my mom about moving to Utah and like getting engaged. Like it was very, very scary. But now I'm so glad I did it. I feel like honestly it made my relationship with my parents so much stronger, which was honestly my fear. I literally thought, I was like, my parents are gonna stop talking to me. I'm gonna lose that connection. I'm gonna lose my family. And yeah, I think just learning to just let things go and not stress about the things that we can't control. Like I can't control how my parents react to this. Like I'm old enough to do these things, so I need to trust myself and my gut and like just go for it. And I think the moment that I realized that and I let that go and I finally like went and talked to my parents, it was like such a relief. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm really doing this. And they actually supported me, and it was a beautiful moment, honestly. It was so beautiful.
And I remember when you had those fears, we were talking through that and visualizing too, like visualize your mom being so happy and so proud of you and visiting you in Utah and it strengthening your relationship. You remember that?
Yes, I remember. It's funny because one of my visions basically came true because it was 2 weeks ago. They all came to visit me and stayed at my house. And it was like I was reliving that vision that I had with you, which is insane. I was like living in a beautiful home that was decorated the way that I wanted. Like, do you remember the visualization that we made? Like, I'm in my beautiful home with my fiance, with beautiful decorations and my family. Like, my visualization literally came true. And it was like, I remember it was like a pinch me moment. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really happening.
It's happened. Yes. It's happened. And then also the dream job. So that was a big piece of it too that unfolded a few months after you moved there. Or was it before?
So during that time, I had just graduated from nursing school, and right after nursing school, I had gotten a job in Vegas that was honestly a really good position. I was gonna get paid very well. Like I was super excited for it. All I needed to do was pass my NCLEX. And finally, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna live my best life, blah, blah, blah. So it comes time to take my NCLEX and I failed. And I remember it like destroyed me. I felt like a failure. I was like, what's going on? Why is this not coming true for me? Like, this was perfect. All these things came to my mind. I thought it was like the end of the world. Little did I know, like, this was actually a blessing in disguise, because if I would have taken that job, this like whole idea to move to Utah would have never even happened. That job had a contract where you had to sign a contract of 2 years, and if you broke that contract, you have to pay like $10,000. So if I would have signed that contract, I wouldn't have been able to move to Utah during that time that my fiance wanted, because that was like, I think 2 months after I would have started that job. So it's crazy because it was honestly a blessing in disguise. So during that time when my fiance asked me to marry him and stuff, I had finally passed my NCLEX. And all along, my dream job was to work in pediatrics. Ironically enough, like that wasn't the job that I had gotten in Vegas. It was like completely different field. And how crazy that like this new path led me to like the job that I actually really wanted, which is so crazy to me. I had found the job online. I was like researching like hospitals in Utah. I had no idea even that Utah had one of the #1 trauma hospitals for children, which is another crazy thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. Like, what an amazing opportunity. So finding that job, and then I found the cardiac unit, which honestly holds a special heart. No pun intended. Special place in my heart, because my grandmother actually passed away due to like a heart condition. So I've always been like, yeah, I've always been really connected to hearts. It's just crazy how like everything connects. It gives me chills. But when I found that position, I was like, oh my gosh, it just felt like a calling. I felt like I was meant to be there. And I remember it was like gonna be closed the next day. And I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna take a shot at it. And I did, and I got a call the next day. I got the interview. The interview went like amazing. I remember they offered me the job on the spot. And it was like crazy.
And were there only a few spaces?
Yeah, they were only taking 4 nurses. And they really, really wanted me to be one of them. And they were like, I know this is so short notice, but like, we need you to be here by September 18. And let me tell you, that was like a month from the time that I was like having this interview. So that meant that I was literally gonna have 1 month to like tell my parents, move myself to Utah. So it was like, I remember I felt so overwhelmed. It was crazy. But then I read, because I read a lot of like manifesting books and stuff, and I read like that's just how manifestation works. It just comes out of nowhere and it just challenges you. It makes you like feel incredibly uncomfortable. And that's how you know it's working. Because I remember I was so uncomfortable. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to just like pick up my life where I've been for so long and just like move to Utah? Like, how do you just do that?
At that point, we had ended the 6 weeks, so you were just like flowing through life and making those decisions for yourself. So how did you get yourself to be able to be brave and step into it?
At that point, I was like just so connected to my inner self. And you know what? Like, a lot of the work that comes with manifestation involves self-love. And I think like through that process, I also grew a lot within myself and like loving myself and trusting my decisions. And I just felt like this is so much more powerful than me. I don't know, I just felt like this sense of like, I have to do this. It wasn't like an if thing anymore for me. It was like, I need to do this. This is a man of my dreams. I love him so much. He like shows me all the qualities of the man that I want in my life. And then not only that, this dream job that like I dreamt about my whole life, honestly, is finally in front of me. Like, how can I not go after it? As much as I love my parents, I love them so much and they mean the world to me, but I know that they'll understand and they'll be so happy for me. And I think like I just had to get into that mental space and just be like, F it, I'm doing it, and just going after it. And I'm so glad that I did, because my job, Annie, I cannot say enough, has been the most rewarding. Sorry, it just gets so emotional. It has been the most rewarding thing in my life. Like, those kids are so resilient. Like, I've learned so much about strength, so much about like the desire to be alive from these kids, and I don't know. I'm just so happy that I made this decision. I'm so happy that I decided to have that call with you. Like, it's just crazy. Life is crazy.
And I'm so happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy that you can come here and share your story too, because I hope that that will spark in someone else how much things can change. And it can all change in 6 weeks. It can all change in a year. Like, it can change. 2 years ago, you came to me and you were depressed with a health issue, and you were at a really low point. Last year, we connected again, and you had all of these like relationship uncertainties, and like your life was completely different. You were living with your parents. You were still like kind of in the box of following your the societal rules or your cultural rules of do what the parents want. But in a year's time, like, you took the action and did all the things. Anyone can work with me, but it takes a person who's willing to take the steps and push through the fears and follow their heart and know that that's more important than the fears that pop up to get to where you are. Like, not everyone is willing to do what you're willing to do, and look what happens when you actually follow your heart and when you follow your intuition. That's another thing. Like, you've always been open to the signs and synchronicities, but I feel like since I've known you, your intuition has been able to open up so much more. Like, talking to you every week when we were working together, I feel like there was always these crazy synchronicities and signs and intuitive moments that you would share with me. And like, that truly is to me like the magic of life. And that is how you can do anything. Because if you listen to that, look where it leads you. You listen to that even in those moments where it feels like everything's falling apart. Like you said, you failed your tests and it felt like the end, but it really was a blessing. Do you feel like now if things go wrong, you're able to view it as like, oh, how is this happening for me? Or like, have you changed your relationship to that?
100%. I feel like now I'm more open-minded to different possibilities and being like, you know what, this maybe isn't meant to work out, and that's okay. I feel like for so long I was like a perfectionist, and I was like, oh no, why are these things not working out for me? Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. Like, and now I think I'm finally in a place in my life where I'm like, you know what, it's just not for me, you know? And I think that helps you a lot in life, like just realizing that some things are meant for you and some things aren't meant for you. And that can be like a relationship, that could be a job, that could be literally anything. I feel like life is a roller coaster. It's not always gonna be like wins and wins and wins, like bam bam. As much as we want it to be, you know, I wish life was like that. That would be pretty awesome, but it's not, you know? We've got to like look at those times too where like things don't work out the way they do, and like see the beauty in them. That challenging moment of not passing my test honestly made me a better nurse, I feel, because it made me go back in there and be like, okay, what am I missing? What am I not understanding? And I feel because I did that, I'm a better nurse now.
And as an observer to the original thing with the health issue and the hair loss, like going through that, like what did that teach you?
Oh my gosh, so much. Honestly, that was so dark. I don't know, I guess you like don't realize, especially as a woman, how important beauty is to you till you're going through a situation like that. I felt like my life was ending, which just sounds so ridiculous because it's literally just hair. But at that time in my life, like, it was so dark. I let that define me so much, and I feel like what I've learned is like that doesn't define you. Like, what's really beautiful is like what's in here. And I think I needed that to happen to me because growing up, my mom always put all of my value into what I looked like. Finally having those conversations with my mom, because it opened up this like thing, this like conversation with me and her where I was like, Mom, like I honestly want to end my life because I feel like you're not gonna love me anymore because I'm losing my hair. Because I honestly at that time I really thought I was gonna go bald. So I'm glad now, looking back, I'm obviously really happy that happened because I don't put so much value in my beauty anymore. Of course I still care about it. I'm a woman at the end of the day, like who doesn't? But yeah, it doesn't like it doesn't define me as much as it did back then. And it's true, like the darkest moments in your life are the ones that at the end of the day you're gonna hold closest to your heart, because it's not only like that you're able to overcome them. It's like the connections that you're able to make with people along the way. For example, a connection I was able to make with you and so many other people through like my journey. And I think if anyone is going through a dark time, just like find the little moments of happiness that you have along the way. I think that's what honestly got me through it, is like finding the little beautiful moments, like my boyfriend at that time, which is my fiance now, being there for me, you know, and loving me. Those moments taught me a lot as well.
Yeah, it is. It's wild. I always talk about how, to anyone, if you are going through a hard time right now or wherever you're at in life, if you have faith that things will change and get better, you will get to a point in your life where you'll look back and find appreciation in those moments, because if anything would have been different, your life wouldn't be exactly the way it is now. It is those little synchronicities and the little guiding moments and the connections along the way. So if anything was different, you wouldn't have what you have right now in this exact way. And I think that's cool. It makes me be able to appreciate those moments for leading me to the beautiful moments.
100%. I feel like everything happens for a reason. Even if we can't see it at the moment, at that time, it's all leading you to a greater purpose.
So I have my new program. It's called Into the Magic. And one of the reasons that I call it that is because I'm always like, I want to bring people into the magic. Like, I experience life in this magical way. Do you feel like you've opened up to like a magical way of life? Like, how does that resonate for you?
Oh, 100%. I feel like being connected into this, I'm more childlike, because for me, magic is childlike. Yeah, you're just playful, you're happy, you're grateful, like you're in this like joy state. Of course, I'm not always, because life is a roller coaster, but like for me, when you're like really connected to that magical world, you feel like a kid again. It's like this feeling. It's like you're in Disneyland.
And that's when all like the synchronicities really amp up, and like those intuitive moments. Well, is there anything else you feel really called to share, or any message to anyone out there that you feel needs it?
Don't give up. Whatever it is that you're trying to attract into your life, keep working on yourself, love yourself, find things to be grateful for. I feel like that helps me so much in life. And just find happiness in everything, in every moment that you can.
If people want to find you or connect with you online, where can they find you?
So my Instagram is @KrystalLove, if you want to follow me. I also do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't posted in forever. I've actually been trying to like get back on there, but I'm just Krystal Parra on YouTube, so if you want to search me up. Thank you so much. This was amazing. Thank you for wanting to have me on your channel. I feel honored. Honestly, it feels surreal because I watched you when you were like used to live in California. I remember you had first like moved there and you were like going through your like, fitness journey and all that stuff. So to be on your channel is like crazy to me. It's like I manifested that on its own. It's crazy to me.
And now people will see your story and it's gonna spark something in them too.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope I touch somebody's life.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story and showing others what's possible. And for those of you who are watching, I do have my new program, Into the Magic. I just signed a new client today and I have some spots still available. There's an 8-week accelerated version as well as a 6-month version, and both of those have an optional add-on to come do an in-person VIP one-on-one retreat with me here at the tiny house. We can even record videos together and do in-person collaborations or content shoots. That is one of my specialties. So that's also an add-on for the in-person experience. So yeah, I will leave a link down below to apply. So take the leap, lean in, and I'm so excited to work with more people and have more of these experiences and share more real life manifestation, life transformational results. I'm gonna have more of my past clients on my channel, so stay tuned for that. And you could be one of those next success stories. I'm very excited, I'm very grateful. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye guys.